Welcome to Band Scamps, an in-depth look at albums and releases by West Michigan artists. Hosted by Dan Fisher and Julio Gomez. This week on Band Scamps, Dan and Julio review Keeping Everyone in the Loop by Cotter, Koopman, and Ancestor by Silent Spirit.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Good morning, Scampy
Scamping on.
We're scamping on down the road. Episode 15.
Episode 15. This is Band Scamps, the podcast.
We're coming right at you live right away. My name is Julio Gomez.
My name is Dan Fisher. Right away, I just want to have your input here. What do you think about Band Scamps, the musical?
I think it's already in the works, probably.
That's what I feel like.
So let's get some stage readings going.
Yeah.
We'll talk to some casting directors and associates, and let's get resumes going. I think let's write it right now.
Yeah, this could be like a hit.
Oh yeah,
right above Dear Evan Hansen.
It starts off. It's a story about two young lads,
two young scamps
who feel they're just not being paid attention to enough, and so they craft a genius idea, and that is
Band Scamps the musical.
The Band Scamps the podcast.
Yeah.
That's the brilliant idea. And we are here. We are going to review West Michigan music more and more.
We have 2 albums again.
2 more.
We did singles last week.
We did. That was fun.
That was fun. I love Hot Singles Night, but
Me
now
too.
we're back to the couples.
Yeah, the singles, I feel like we rush into it. And actually, you know what? We did not do singles last week. We did 2 other records. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Alternate timelines.
My timeline. I'm in the DC universe, not the MCU.
Yeah, we're gonna have to you're like in like the Marvel Legacy universe, X-Men. I actually just watched all the Marvel movies recently all the way through. I've been watching. There's so much time to watch stuff.
Yeah.
And, I've never seen any of the X-Men stuff though, the old ones.
Oh really?
And I like X-Men.
Yeah, they're good. At least
good.
X1 and X2 are solid. And I don't really count it, but like the Logan movie was like super good.
I've heard that, and
That's
I like
really good.
Wolverine. I think is my favorite character.
Yeah.
My favorite X-Men.
Give me like quick top 3 of Marvel movies.
Okay.
Not even what you consider the best, but the ones you enjoyed the most.
You know, I enjoyed Captain Marvel. Surprisingly, I liked that movie.
Me too.
I kind of overlooked that one.
It was very good.
I also like Thor Ragnarok a lot.
That's
I think that
like
one,
my
that
top
one is
3
fun.
for sure.
And then, honestly, Captain America, one of them. I don't know which one it was. And it might have been the Civil War one, or it might have been Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Oddly. I didn't think I would like Captain America, and I actually really did like that character and like the whole arc. I like the new show.
I'm glad that like they are able to. They're cool with like making fun of him. That he's kind of like a cheeseball, and like he's like no swearing or like I'm so.
They did
like,
such a good job with it. Yeah, they did an incredible job. I could talk about TV and movies all day too. So maybe someday we'll.
Yeah,
get
maybe we'll
like
have film scamps.
How's your week, man?
It's going good.
Yeah,
I quit my job.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about that off the pod.
Yeah, I'll make an announcement to the public.
Yeah.
Next week, and then everyone will know by the time they hear this.
That's nice. Yeah. Man, good luck.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's been hot.
It's hot.
It's been really hot. I'm like trying to get used to my summerness. I've been trying to like diet a little bit to be ready for the heat, because every year usually hits me and I feel like just like not ready to survive in that kind of heat,
It's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday sun.
So any like general housekeeping stuff you think we should go over before we start?
Just want to make sure everyone has had a chance to visit our Patreon page. It's at patreon.com/bandscamps. I'm looking. How about this?
There you go. Hey,
patreon.com/bandscamps.
Yeah, perfect. Now we're on that camera.
Yeah, I kind of forget. We're still getting used to this.
Yep. We got a guest producer that will have been on by the time that we're going to hear this, so we'll see with that timeline how that production goes.
Otherwise, I loved the reviews we got in the Discord. That was really funny.
Yeah, we're getting what the fans are saying. They're all we got some really judgmental fans.
Keep it going. #FrickDan.
Yep. One thing I can address though is album credits.
Yeah,
we got to remember to do album credits.
We got to do album credits.
Now, here's a thing that I want to say about album credits.
Okay.
Is that I actually did that with one of our first release we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And I had a moment where I kind of regretted having looked at the album credits.
Same.
Okay, so I want to say that we do kind of cover album credits, and we need to probably, at least at some point in the episode, mention everything, but I was so glad of how we did it, and then I didn't do it that way, and then it was like, oh, actually, that would have been easier to not include or not have done.
Right. Yeah, let's jump right into it then. Let's talk about the first record. because I think that point is like my first impression.
For sure. And I don't know. Yeah, if that was your first impression, we should talk about that because
Yeah.
it wasn't mine. I didn't really think about that point until all of a sudden I was like, oh, I should think about liner notes. You know. Okay. So let's. I'm ready to pull it up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's by Cotter Koopman. This album's called "Keeping Everyone in the Loop." It was released August 7th of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So in the fall. So I read the liner notes before this happened. Before I listened.
Okay.
And it gave me. It set like an expectation.
Yeah.
Basically, this guy built some kind of looping mechanism with his synthesizer. And so my first impression was like, I don't think I'm going to like this, honestly, just because I had that initial information.
Because of the notes on what kind of machinery was being used for the music?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's just because it felt so... Like, my impression from the notes was like, oh, he just kind of like fed audio in this, and now he's releasing it. Like, how much did he really play a part in this outside of like the mechanical engineering of it?
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we should just go ahead and read the credits. Do you have it pulled up, the Bandcamp right now? We can pull that up here. I got it too.
So the liner notes here says, I built an automatic looping machine that works like a kaleidoscope on little melodic snippets.
Okay.
So it's basically like a granular looping delay system. Then I asked my friends to send me phone recordings to feed it. So that's also another like thing. That's a word that popped out to me was phone recordings. So the first word that popped out to me was like looping machine, and then the phone recordings, and then let's see here, of them improvising on their instruments in their spaces. I ran them through the looper and arranged the best bits into simple songs over a beat.
Okay.
And then the main looping material for each track was generated in VCV rack, which I don't know what it is, so that's pretty technical.
Yeah. Relying
specifically on stacks of the NYSTHI Simpliciter module. Okay, so that's a module.
Sure.
Additional sampling done with the core vocal sample and segmenti for the organelle.
Man, that's like so dull to have read off air.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to include what you just read, or I'm going to explain. I'm going to cut in when I edit and be like that. That was actually really boring because
it was boring.
This is good information, but I kind of wish I hadn't read any of this because with the music, I didn't know that was what was going on in this. And I think we'll go into personnel at the end at the end of this record. That might make an easy way. Good. So I think we just need to address the criticism that we're not including liner notes. So let's do it their way and show that maybe it's not always the best way. And, I have a better note about that later on. So let's start right away. This first track's called Matt's Piano.
Yeah. So right away I was kind of skeptical of how this was going to sound, and it sounds cool so far though.
Yeah. I think it sounds like really, really cool. I like this intro. Really kind of mixed well in the intro, nice and lush.
Yeah.
It's kind of electronic music, right? And it's like a piano.
Yeah.
And we know that right away from the track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called Matt's Piano, the first song. And then like these were phone recordings, so they don't sound like phony though.
No, they don't. They sound like real.
They sound like recordings, whatever.
Exactly. So it's kind of repetitive. It's kind of chill.
It's like choppy.
It is like kind of chattery.
Yeah.
Is that what you have is like choppy? The notion you got? Yeah, I got kind of like chattery.
Yeah, that's another good like descriptor.
I think we can like kind of talk about genre here.
Yes.
So kind of down tempo.
Yeah. So my initial thought it was going to be kind of more experimental.
Okay.
And then as it went on, it turned into more like down tempo kind of.
Okay.
Like like that chill house vibe thing.
I mean, I even get down tempo right away. Down tempo, chill, kind of ambient.
Yeah.
Kind of trip hop. Remember that term?
Yeah.
We don't talk about that, Roy.
We don't.
What happened to trip hop?
Because the only trip hop band that people know that I know is Portishead.
Okay, Portishead. You got Massive Attack, and you got Tricky. Those are the big three.
I don't know Tricky.
And then you have like Thievery Corporation.
Oh, okay.
You have like, even that, it even hit the mainstream a little bit. That Six Underground.
Yeah.
Take me down, Six Underground.
Yeah.
That's a trip hop song through and through.
Totally.
But like, what happened to that as a genre descriptor? We don't use it anymore.
I don't know.
It kind of bums me out. Like, it was a great term. And so I actually brought this up, I think, when I talked to you once about ambient music. And I got a hold of Ben, actually, Ben Weismore, to ask him about like, what are they calling trip hop and stuff now.
Yeah.
You know, because I was
What did he
searching.
say?
I was searching for music. I mean, I can't even remember, but
Yeah.
it was like not the answer I was looking for. It was like, oh, like he, look for record labels. That's probably the best way to do it.
Right.
And that's what I had to remember. Okay, what were the record labels that I like? But like we kind of stopped talking about that genre.
Send us an email with trip hop bands that you think we should listen to.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, beats and like that kind of music never really went out of style. And trip hop and like the whole break beat thing with like backpack hip hop and like, DJ Shadow, Cut Chemist.
Yeah.
And like all this stuff kind of happened at the same time and influenced electronic music as well. Like
For
all of
sure.
a sudden it was okay to listen to instrumental hip hop. And now there's the lo-fi hip hop beats to study to or whatever,
Yeah.
right? That's trip hop.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
We don't call it that anymore.
No, we just call it like lo-fi bedroom pop or whatever. Lo-fi hip hop.
What other notes you got about this one?
Let's see here. It actually has like a lot of like nice depth.
Okay, I have a note on that. There is a nice mix on here, but I think it does need some like sub bass.
Yeah, there was like a little like bass thing, but there was no sub bass.
I think that we're gonna have that note in a lot of electronic music that we review.
are. Yeah.
Man, even like I got some monitors recently, and right when we turned them on, both Cassie and I were like, we need a sub.
Yeah.
There's a lot we're missing here of this kind of genre.
You
that
gotta have
it
that body
needs it.
feel.
Yeah,
You gotta feel it inside you.
I think this is a subject that's gonna come up a couple times during this podcast.
Yeah, exactly, and definitely just like in this episode, I feel like.
But other than that, there's some like good texture in it.
There's good texture. I'm just again like
I use the word lush. I
with
think.
those liner notes. Like now, I'm just thinking about like I wonder how much this played into the music, like this machine.
Okay. Yeah. How much of it? Exactly. I had that same note. So
like,
how much
is he doing it live? How much is live? How much is like arranged?
It goes off on a lot of different like kind of loopy things.
Yeah.
Like, this is a looping record.
Exactly.
But there is not just loop. There's also beats. There's also some other stuff. There's some instrumentation. There's some like modulation, and there's some like weird synthesis and like distortion of the tones, right? Or like manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that's like all I have really.
That's all I talk about. I mean, we talked about that for like 8 minutes for one song. So yeah, let's go to the next one. It kind of reminds me of like Tycho too, and like artists like that, like kind of these like really airy. It almost sounds like Star Slinger a little bit sometimes.
I kept on thinking about The Field.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah. So let's see. Jordan's Guitar is the next song. So
these tracks are named all pretty easy. Like I think we're gonna know who contributed what to what.
Yeah,
album.
I'm guessing this is from Jordan, and that he played guitar.
Yeah, hopefully.
This is all speculative, guys. So
yep.
So far that I'm liking like the rhythmic aspect. Like it's like again like it's got like a tempo. It's not like too ambient or anything.
No, this has a bit of a beat.
Oh, that's what it reminded me of. That's a note I have. It reminded me of Dentel.
Okay, I'm actually not familiar with them either.
Dentel is the project of like the beat maker from the Postal Service. It's a solo thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know what the name of the other producer was. Yeah, nice groove, nice little composition in here.
My next note says could use some bass.
Yeah, I have here. This needs to be mixed better.
Yeah, that's a note I have later on too. With all the songs,
I have just written here. This is. Oops. I have written here. This is like a common thread.
Yes,
this is going to be a really common thread. Is the mix on this record.
Yeah, and it also felt a little long just for how repetitive it was. Which I don't mind repetition, but like. This one, I guess there wasn't something for me to really grab onto.
Repetition's a major theme, but you're using looping, right? I mean, you can't get away with it. There's like looping and oscillation, and
there's either got to be like a rhythmic, like a hook, or a melodic hook.
Yeah, I know there's a nice beat, some composition here. Electronic music production is like no longer the way of the future.
Yeah,
it's like really like it's. The way of now.
Exactly. It's happening right now.
It's the way of the past. I mean, they've been doing electronic music production forever. Ever since they figured out how to do it, they've been doing it. And like we've used electronic music, like elements of it or elements of electronic music in the recording process or whatever, even just a click track.
Right.
Just that. So like, I think we're going to get a lot of electronic music submissions on or that are like somewhat tangible to it.
I'm in a couple different like musician producer discords, and a lot of the introductions it'll be like, "Hey, I'm from like this producer from, like Germany. I'm 14." You're just like, what?
Yeah.
And you're like, how? That's awesome, but it's just like, yeah, that's just how like present it is now.
And it's so accessible.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's accessible. You can just do it.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I got here. This could really like pump better.
Yeah.
You know, like I wanted to listen to it on speakers, and I never got to that point. But I was like, you know what? I wish this could be louder, and I'm just not feeling the volume that it needs to be. I can kind of chalk that up to a little bit of bass, or like a lack of bass.
You know, there's a lack of bass when you're listening on iPhone headphones, and you still want more bass because iPhone headphones are super bassy, or they're not even bassy. They're just like muddy.
Okay.
Kinda.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
To give you like the illusion of like full sound or whatever.
Yeah. So mixers, if you are when you're mixing your song, don't just mix to your good headphones in your studio monitors. Mix to iPhone headphones and stuff.
Interesting.
Because I always do that. Like I always do a listen on nice and then a listen on iPhone.
I should bust those out for some of. I got a mix of our stuff coming up. That's really good advice. I do like this music. I like it.
It's cool. It's like a really cool idea.
There's some influences here that I think are interesting, and also also dependent on the machinery. At this point, I don't realize anything about the machinery. I haven't read that part yet.
I really wish I had that, because like my experience was so dependent on that, or like clouded by that information. Not that that's bad.
I know exactly what you mean.
But you know what I mean, though?
Like, I have that exact same experience later on in this record, so I absolutely know what you mean.
Yeah, you just can't stop thinking about it. And you're like, how can I judge this without that information? Like, it's impossible now.
Right. I do have halfway through the song, I'm jamming. Reminds me kind of a Spaceman 3, even. I like I like a lot. And I'm kind of just gonna like vibe here for a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of panning. And that comes in at this point. And I'm noticing I write too. Like a lot of our artists that we review don't take use of pan in that way. You can really make things so wide, or you have your even like people do with your guitar just like 5 milliseconds later on the right channel. It's gonna sound weird and out of tune, out of mix a little bit, but then you play it all together and it's like, whoa, there's that fullness.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can hear this going back and forth, and it's like got this liquid effect. Really kind of cool.
We do that. Just with the doubling of guitars.
Oh yeah.
Like it just makes it sound that much more full.
So I write, there's some house and there's some hip hop influence here.
Yeah.
That's probably the major two influences of this music. But also it's being heavily influenced by the hardware.
I'm like thinking about it, just like I'm having a thought now of just like I kind of wish this album went in a more like artsy direction.
Interesting.
Just because of maybe of the mixing, just because it isn't like it's not necessarily leaning into like the dance aspect. So
I think they were going for a they were definitely going for a artsy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. Let's move on. Unless you have another note for.
No, here I actually have like this one's called Ale Synth, and I have I read credits wish right here.
Okay, gotcha.
So I read credits, and I sort of wish I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I read credits. I sort of wish I didn't. I think this loop thing would have been like an apparent thing anyway.
You would have got it, like, right? You're like, oh, he chopped stuff up, and like these are obviously like samples.
Yeah, and like. I wonder if like me knowing that made me less interested about the production of this.
Yeah, like it took away that curiosity.
Once I learned, I was like, oh, it's a looper.
Right.
Oh, it's a looping record.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. There it is.
Exactly.
And I could hear then it became really obvious to me when I thought before it was almost a vibe they were making,
Right. Interesting. Man.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and then I'm like, okay, now that I know that aspect, there's still additional programming.
Yeah. But still, it's like, with that note, though, it's directing us to the aspect of looping, not the production.
Know, right? Now we know it's a looping record.
Now we know.
The
star, like now you know.
It's broadcast, but they're probably proud of it being a looping record, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would too if you like created this like mechanism. Like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
but we're not here to critique mechanisms and like loopers. We're here to critique music.
Yeah, so. Overall, it's interesting though. This one's got kind of a witch house vibe. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was like,
it's so funny, man. Things just fall into place sometimes. There's some witch house.
Yeah.
Spooky.
A little spooky, which I'm about.
All right, the next song is called Patrick's Cello.
Yeah. All right. So by this time, I'm like already kind of getting sick of this choppy vibe. This one is really kind of missing that like groove.
Yeah.
And like down-tempo house beats.
Yeah.
It's just kind of just like, it's almost like noise music at this point.
Yeah, I had to like turn it down
Yeah, it's harsh, right?
Yeah,
especially without that bass.
Yeah, I had to turn it down, and that's not really an experience that's good.
Right. And like by this time too, like I'm not really getting any kind of like groundbreaking sound design. It's just like the chops.
It's just loopy. You know, it's just dun 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 dun. I mean, how long can we listen to that?
Right. Oh, well, we found out.
Yeah, I had to turn it way down for it to not hurt, and that happened actually for the next couple of songs. There's moments where I had to like keep turning it down and down and down.
Yeah, there's some ear fatigue.
I don't like that experience.
Right. Yeah, you want people to turn your music up.
And I was like afraid. I was afraid to turn it up.
Right.
So, next track.
Yeah. Ale synth.
Ale synth. We already talked a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Witch House. What else? What else you got?
That at this point now I'm like actually sick of the choppy. Like I need some variation at this point.
At this point, you've had enough.
Yeah, I've had enough. Like I get the point. At least this song actually had some bass, not sub bass, but it had some bass at least.
Yeah, it did. You're right. It did have a little bit of bass.
But
or was that just like this? It was a synth bass, probably,
yeah.
right? So maybe because of the limitations of whatever instruments are being sampled here, we're not going to get bass tones because it's not a bass instrument.
Exactly, because the chops are like the rhythm in a lot of ways. Because I feel like the drums beats have been like pretty weak.
Yeah. Well, you're limited to that loop.
Exactly.
That's you're at your rhythmic constraint. You can't get around it. You have no choice.
Exactly. So the bass isn't following that rhythmic. So we're not getting the bounce and the oof.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was starting to turn a little bit on this record at this point.
Yeah, same here. I was like, I really wish I could just like kind of like vibe to it more.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Matt's piano again.
Yeah. All right. At this point, I'm thinking like, here's my thought. I was like, what's the point of doing this song again if it's kind of the same vibe? Because like, in my opinion, like this kind of speaks to like a lack of like compositional skill.
Let me see if I get you straight here. You think this is the same song as Matt's piano?
No, but it's like the same vibe.
Okay.
So,
it's all kind of the same vibe.
Yeah, but so it's like at this point, I feel like he probably should have just taken the best elements from Matt's piano and Matt's piano again and just made them one song.
Okay.
Because like it's not even like I didn't get enough variation from the theme to like necessarily warrant another song.
Yeah. I kind of go off at this point. Do you have anything else on this track?
No, that's
okay. I don't like this kind of looping. And like I don't know why it gives me anxiety. Like it makes my heart race. Like it physically, it has a physiological effect on my body. I think Animal Collective does stuff like this.
Yes, Animal Collective is scary.
And yeah, I think so too. And this is a vibe that I just don't like. Like I can feel my heart like speeding up.
Yeah.
And I can feel my breathing increase. I can feel my blood pressure go up.
Yeah.
And I actually said I have to skip this and come back to it later.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of wish it was like the more like if they embraced that more artsy thing.
Yeah.
Then I think I would have been more accepting of like that discourse, like even physically.
Yeah. So like, I had to scrub ahead. I stopped it and I was like, you know what? I got to finish the song. I scrubbed ahead. It was the same thing. Every moment I went 15 seconds ahead and just boom, ended it. And like as soon as it ended, I could feel my heart rate and my breathing return to normal.
Interesting.
Yeah. The world feels better.
Yeah.
I'm no longer afraid of whatever this music was trying to make me afraid of.
Wow.
And like, it's not a coincidence that they use this kind of repetitive music in movies and TV to simulate like psychosis and like schizophrenia, you know, the cuckoo. That's that rhythm, you know, and like, I don't want to listen to the cuckoo. That's what it makes me feel like.
Have you heard that like in like horror movies, they like specifically play like specific frequencies like during tense parts?
Oh, I'm sure.
Which is like so wild to me.
And some of this kind of music, like I think gets there to me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's intentional, but I think it's like, you know, the artist is like, oh yeah, this is triggering something in my brain, but maybe not stopping to be like, is this a pleasurable thing to listen to?
Right. That's the thing is like, what are they going for the listenability? Like, or are they going for like more conceptual kind of thing?
And like, I feel like really good music is like something like you could like have sex to or something, you know, or like whatever, play at your grandpa's funeral, you know, or something. And like sometimes stuff that makes you feel actively crazy is not going to cut it for me on a level of like music appreciation.
Yeah, I could not have sex at my grandpa's funeral to this music.
No, No, never. Well, maybe it's perfect music for that.
Yeah, maybe this is the music to have sex to at your grandpa's funeral.
You're like, hey, you want to get out of here?
And they're like,
no,
you're going straight to hell.
Yeah. So at this point, I take a short break and come back.
Yeah. I plowed through here.
Okay.
Just because looking at the title, it says Cat's Harp, which is the next song, and I love
that
the
made
harp.
me happy. I like the harp too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one was like finally like felt like more interesting at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There was like my only gripe was there's not really a lot of processing of the actual samples.
Ooh, I think that you are right.
Like he's chopping up the samples, but he's not like playing around with the actual like EQing of them at all.
Yeah.
And that could have brought a lot of depth.
Well, it reminds me, like, it wants to be like, there was a genre when I was growing up called IDM, like intelligent dance music. Have you ever heard this term? It's real
think you
stupid.
told me about it.
IDM.
Yeah.
So we're talking like Aphex Twin, like Square Pusher, Plastic Man. Some of the minimalism stuff goes into there, and some of the really weird stuff that was like off the wall bonkers.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes in those directions. There's a lot of like chopping
that
up
makes
and
sense.
a lot of like. But it's really striving for something, and like I like this a little better. The sonic manipulation is kind of fun, but I was really still recovering from that last song.
Yeah, you were still shook.
My heart went up,
Yeah,
like I can't deny that.
Right? Yeah, man, you're getting older. You got to watch your heart rate stuff.
I can't listen to loop music. It makes me anxious.
Oh,
maybe there's a thing. I wonder, listener. You got any questions about loop anxiety? Bandscamps@gmail.com.
Yeah, like
loop anxiety. Let's call it that.
Let's start a petition to get loop anxiety on WebMD.com.
Let's get it on the thing.
I want to be seen for my illnesses.
Yeah, man. I like, so I was still recovering, and I kind of like turned the last song down because of it, and I realized, oh, whoops, I've been listening to this really quiet. So I turned it back up. I wasn't quiet, and it's kind of entering like some soundscape territory.
Yeah, this one like has like more variation in the arrangement too.
I think that's really fun. I think we want that, right? I think we need it.
Yeah, I want like A sections and B sections and C sections.
Because now that I know now I know that what his like policy on making music was. They made it clear as day. Maybe like, okay, you did manipulate it. Well, like, what did you do?
Right.
And it is obvious. I don't think it's lacking that in a really detrimental way. It probably could have used a lot more of it.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else on that track? Zach's voice?
Zach's voice. This one's choppy again, but it's cool.
Choppy, kind of fast. This is kind of juke house. Like it's kind of like old school dirty house, but it doesn't quite have. It reminded me of that. I could see a remix of this where it's like really fast, like hardcore. You know.
I'm glad to hear some some tempo variation. Like it's all been kind of samey tempo.
It's called Zach's voice, and it's a voice.
It's a voice.
It's vocal samples.
Yeah.
Decent mastering job on this, by the way. With whoever mastered this, with whatever they were given, I think did a really good job with it.
For sure. Kick is almost there with this one.
Almost. Right?
Almost.
This one, I'm saying, you could dirty up this song and have it be like a juke house anthem.
Dude, like add some saturation,
just like 90s Chicago South Side shit.
Yeah, throw this through like a preamp.
Why is it this speed?
I don't know.
It's so fast.
I wonder if that was like a choice from like Zach, or if that was maybe or if it was a choice by Cotter.
It's incredibly fast.
Yeah, it's really fast.
It's incredibly fast. Like 165, 170, 180. What are we talking here?
I don't know.
This speed of music when I was younger, they would call this hardcore.
Yeah,
or like happy hardcore, or like gabber, or like something that's very fast. And it's very hard to dance to for a long time. Even psytrance is
that's fast. Yeah.
That's how fast this song is.
It was fast.
And like the thing is, like, you can dance to that, but there's no chill out part.
Yeah.
Like this, you could have chopped this up and have like the middle to this kind of chill out part.
Yeah.
And we're back and
yeah. If I got a drop in that would have been sick.
Most house music and shit, like 120. We're talking 120 to 125. 132, 135, you start pushing it.
You're pushing it, yeah.
And it starts sounding like, okay, this is notably fast. I mean, like some harder style stuff might be that fast, but once you start getting that hard, you're in the realm of hardcore. I don't know if they were intending that.
I don't know.
Like, why not use some like time compression, expansion, elastic audio, something to keep the pitch, just slow it down.
Yeah.
It seemed rushed. It seemed like spazzy.
Right.
Like ADHD.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that this is like their attempt at like throwing in some variation, but I think the variation needs to be like microscoped down even more per song.
Sure. I think it was a very attempt at variation. Maybe the tempo was like, yeah, we wanted it to be hard as fuck, but like maybe that wasn't the right direction with this song. So it kind of fell short for me a little bit, this one. You got anything else for this one? Jordan's guitar again. It's getting cooler in here.
Yeah.
The sun's going down.
At this, let's see here. Okay, so at this point, like the samples are like microscopic.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like they literally are just like grains, and I feel like they in that way, if they're gonna get that small, you might as well take it really far and make tones out of them. Yeah,
totally. I think that maybe that was what they were going for, but maybe it doesn't single tones are hard, and they're really hard to mix.
Yeah,
they're really harsh. You know, I had a professor, or I was in high school, and we had a tone, like an old school tone generator, and I plugged it in, and he like came running and was like, "Do not play with this thing. You're gonna mess everything up." Like, apparently it's really bad for speakers.
Interesting.
Like single tones, you know, like
single sine waves, just like
just, and then it'll pop. Anything.
Yeah. You could probably go deaf if you're not careful.
Yeah, and as he came running in, he was like, "Do not plug this in."
Yeah,
like we're gonna lock that up.
You're like, I'm just trying to make some harsh noise.
Yeah. And this song, Jordan's guitar again, is slower.
It's slower, but the drums don't really fit in this one.
No, there's a lot to like about this record, but I think it's important to be critical because it's kind of asking a lot out of me.
Yeah,
as a listener. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, it was just like, again, it's like it's a cool idea, but like the actual, again, like the listenability of it is wandering.
Yeah, it is cool, but it just asks a lot out of you.
Yeah,
and I don't know how I feel about that.
It's tough.
Kind of a downer vibe on this one. Yeah, and I right here, maybe I'm just not that into loop music records. Like, it's a cool skill to do live. It's a really cool trick. But maybe live, I don't see the point in it because we're all looping. You know, we're already looping.
Yeah, we're already looping.
We're all doing like non-linear editing programs, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're actually doing more than looping. We're doing like these loops on top of each other that are happening in real time if we decide to. So I don't know if I see the appeal of them on a record.
I think where it's falling short is like it's just looping, and we're not really getting that composition yet.
Yeah,
you know, in the arrangement,
and maybe that's why we were critical of Brandino's record, and like maybe it's just because we're just not that into the looping thing on record,
right?
So how do you?
I don't know, but I feel like the music I make is like pretty loopy at times, but it's not like it's not like sample based, I guess maybe.
Right,
like this is.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're just starting out too with your music too, so it's not like what you're doing is like super perfect, but you are taking into account like songwriting, and a lot of the stuff that we have been reviewing has been a little bit like, I don't know how much you guys are paying attention to this.
Right.
I think this one more than others actually, though.
For sure.
It's kind of got a cool dissonance. Like I don't totally dislike it.
Yeah.
Kind of a downer, but kind of cool dissonance.
Yeah.
It's okay to like listen to downer music. I try not to these days because I'm really like affected by it.
Same. I try to like listening to like upbeat stuff. Especially now, it's like summer basically.
Oh yeah, man! We went DJing. We were doing like reggaeton stuff, like modern reggaeton,
cool.
and like Latin rap stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Like Latin rap R&B stuff. It's all boom, tap, 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 tap,
ooh.
Tap, tap. It's like that beat, you know. I think it's all. Yeah, we've been doing it, bumping it. You want to go to the next song?
Yeah, I think this is the last one.
Tyler's saxophone.
Yeah.
This is kind of classy.
Yeah, I love saxophone. It's one of my favorite instruments.
Kind of a classy sound.
Yeah.
Tempo 3/4. We're in a 3/4/6/8 now.
You know, I didn't notice that. It's a nice observation.
It was a boom to pop to
yeah
to pop, I believe. Yeah.
But
and like
it's like more of the same though.
Yeah. Really nice sax stuff though.
Yeah.
So this was one that I was kind of glad to get to the end of, you know.
Yeah.
Overall though, pretty cool.
It's a really cool idea. I think executed like pretty well, all things considered.
I think like I'm critical of it because overall it presents a lot of opportunities for me to just like not enjoy it.
Right.
And that was weird. Like there would be times where I would be like, this is actively hard for me to like, and I've turned it down like 70% to listen to get through this.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I really like it. So it's really inconsistent.
Yeah, especially when like knowing the information that we knew from the liner notes. It's like the only thing now inviting us to listen to it is like the it's like almost like the nerdiness of like getting into like loop music. Otherwise, but before you read the liner notes, it at least was inviting you because of curiosity.
Right. So like, it's nice to listen like up to a point to this kind of music, and it does satisfy a lot of curiosity about like what are they, or it does. Let me say, like, it piques your interest. You know.
Yeah.
Even without the lineup. So if this was on Spotify, you'd be like, oh, this is really interesting. What's going on here? Actually,
Right.
Because I didn't get the experience of the liner notes until way into the record, way into it. You know.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of hard moments for me to enjoy.
Yeah. I understand that for sure.
There was something else I was going to say. I can't remember what it was. Do you think people will like this?
I think people will find it interesting.
Yeah. Do you think fans of loop music will like this?
Yes.
Okay, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think they'll find that pretty compelling.
Yeah. I think it's a really cool concept. It's a concept record.
Yeah. And it's been like okay to listen to. It's varied, it's interesting. I say listener, check it out, and what do you think?
Yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think of loop music.
Yeah. I mean, if you like that kind of music especially, I think that you will find a lot of things in here that are really interesting to listen to. It's very varied.
I think if you liked Low Order, you'll appreciate this album.
It does make me wonder, like, there's a lot of cool gear and method happening here, but it makes me wonder, like, is it like the end result less than the sum of its parts?
Yes, I had that thought a lot.
So I think that's valid then, and that's never good.
Right.
So maybe that's a cohesion thing. I don't know. Like, it didn't score points with me. Like learning how it was made, it kind of took points away.
Yeah, I think like it's almost like the way he did this record. I'm not sure he made any of the music more musical because of the arrangements.
I do think that like it's like maybe successful in the fact that I think this music turned out better than they thought it would.
Yeah.
Do you think that's possible? Do you think they were happy with how this turned out?
I think they are.
Yeah, I think this turned out better than they thought it would. So they got there, in my opinion. I think.
I agree too.
Do you want to give it a rating?
Yeah, I'll give it a rating. I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this like an 8 p.m. call from your Sweetwater representative.
8 p.m. call. Ooh, I'm gonna say brown crayon.
Ooh, nice. All right.
Listener, please do check this out.
Check it out.
Do we even do a title? Do we intro this right and everything?
Let's read the liner notes. Give a title. It's called "Looping State of Mind."
Okay.
And let's talk about the artwork too, because we didn't talk about that.
Oh yeah, artwork too. And you know what? I can actually pop that up. I'll pop that up on the whatever one.
Artwork. I mean, it's just like two photos that kind of look like they were like printed and then like scanned again.
Yeah, or maybe a double exposure of some sort.
Or something, yeah.
Or it's like meant to look like a double exposure of some sort.
It's very just like I don't know, it's just like they're just two photos, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be an emo cover.
Yeah. Like a group of friends sitting around. Nerdy looking
stuff,
kids.
Yeah. So samples were from Matt Lokes, Jordan Peterson Camp, Patrick Yonker, Il Crevier, Hannah Hoxma, Zach Vanderwiley, and Tyler Lucci. And mastering done by Ryan Hay of Pink Sky.
Oh, excellent. Well, I think that good job, Ryan.
Yeah. And he put this out on a cassette too. So
far out.
This is like, I feel like good cassette. This
is a great tape to own. Yeah, I would have this in my car.
I think Billy would put this out.
Totally.
Yeah,
maybe we can get them in touch, or at least he'd be interested.
He's on Tiny House Records.
Very cool.
That's who put out the tape.
Far out.
So
I'm into it.
Yeah, and all proceeds benefit Grand Rapids Area Mutual Aid Network.
Well, that's incredible.
Go visit CotterKoopman.com .bandcamp.com.
Very interesting. A lot of things in common in these two records that we have.
Yeah.
That's one too. The other one also is a benefit for charity, is it not?
Yeah, and again, like we don't pick these just because of like genres. Like, they're literally just picked out of like order, randomness. Kind of.
Yeah, it just kind of happened this way. We got more coming too. Anything else you got to talk about this record?
No.
Do we do all the credits? You did them all?
Yeah, we got them all.
Cool. Listener, we're gonna come back after a short break. Stick around.
Yeah,
we didn't take a break on our on the one I just aired. We did on the next one. We had to have, so we'll have to just get that going.
But also, just send us an email at bandscamps@gmail.com. Let us know what do you think of this new format?
Yeah. We got a lot of changes coming up, and we're always trying new things. It's always been a work in progress.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make it look better and more pro and more entertaining for you.
Yeah.
So.
Everyone on the Discord's been like super helpful. So if you want to get your voice heard, join our Discord.
Yeah, and the easiest way to do that is Bandscamps. Sorry. Yeah, and the easiest way to do that is at patreon.bandscamps.com.
Patreon.com/bandscamps.
I'll just edit that whole shit out.
Yeah.
let me just go to a different scene.
Damn it.
We're going to take a short break and come right back. Thanks for watching. Stick around. We'll be right back.
It's so hard. There's so many things. Hey, we're back from the break.
We are back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back,
Cotter,
to our show. This is Band Scams, episode 15.
15. We're halfway to 30. We can almost drive.
Yeah. Are we thinking about it as like it's a person?
It kind this is our baby.
Yeah, in podcast years, you every week's a year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's rough.
Yeah, what's the average then lifespan of a podcast?
One episode.
Dang, that's
not even point.
Right, kind of.
Probably, I would say the average lifespan of episodes like 0.8.
Wait, yeah, it's just there's so many unheard podcasts out there.
Or like they forgot to hit record.
They're like
whatever,
like the dumpster babies of our podcasts.
I'm gonna unmute this mic so I can get it in the thing here. We're here to talk about more West Michigan music. We're still accepting submissions.
Yes.
Bandscamps@gmail.com for submissions. We have a new Patreon page, patreon.com/bandscamps. You can support us there at any level you want. You get access to early episodes and exclusives.
Mm-hmm. And to the Discord.
And you just help support us do our thing. It does cost us a little bit of money to do this, and any little bit of help is
even like
so
the first tier. It is just $3 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee, really.
Yeah, set it and forget it.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're paying, like what, $20 for HBO so you can watch a movie a month.
Yep.
Come on.
You get a really cool welcome video.
Yeah, we do
personalized.
Yeah, they're very personal.
Very personalized. We get right down to the We bust our monocles out for it.
Exactly. Maybe we'll do we should do like a monocle NFT.
Ooh, I think you're right.
That'd be sick.
We have an NFT we're supposed to work on. I still have to do it. I'm really bad at follow through, which is why episode 15 is a big deal for us. Because like knowing my panache for not finishing or even starting projects, this is pretty good.
It's very good. But this is fun though.
Yeah.
So this album is called Ancestor, and it's by Silent Spirits.
Oh, awesome!
And it came out May 8th of 2020.
I like to act surprised, like I didn't know what we were talking about.
I know.
That's like for the listeners' sake.
Yeah. Full disclosure, we just reviewed Silent Spirit like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, this is a first.
Yeah, so this is actually older material.
I wonder how much like that is going to affect our review. Having just reviewed them.
Yeah. We really haven't. This is our first like repeat, right?
Like in general, yeah, I think so. And like we haven't done any repeats.
Yeah.
Of anybody, and even this proximity, I think, is what I'm even like. The repeat thing doesn't bother me that much because we've done bands that I know their music, but the proximity of the freshness of it is what I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But with that said, though, it's kind of like we've been having a lot of like electronic music albums that we've been reviewing.
Yeah, we mentioned that in the earlier segment.
So that's good that like maybe this is a good time because it's kind of fresh with us.
It's relevant.
Yeah.
It's obviously relevant. Okay, so would you want to just jump right into
the
album art? So cool art,
kind
of painting. It reminds me like folk art.
Yeah,
like kind of like 20s kind of folk art, maybe even like 30s folk art, or like the kind of like attention to that kind of like illustrative kind of feel,
Yeah.
I'm like excited to hear this because of the album art.
Yeah, and again, like I'm excited to hear it just because of like the previous episode that we did the single.
Yeah, definitely. So let's jump right in. This first song's called Sunrise.
Sunrise. Dig the pads.
Yeah, more synth.
Great pads.
Yeah, I have here. We reviewed what stuff already. We reviewed this already, kind of, this artist, so we kind of know what to expect going into it. But for listeners, if you don't know, it's synth. It's synth-based music, synthesizer and drum machine or whatever based music.
It's funny too because the song that we reviewed a couple episodes ago was more recent material.
Oh, interesting.
But then, listening to this, which is older material, I was still listening to as if it was new material.
Okay.
So I was like, "Ooh, I'm like expecting a lot because I've heard their stuff before, but really we heard the direction they're going already."
Yeah, I didn't really. I just kind of assumed this was like the main thing, and the single was something else. So that's really interesting.
Yeah,
I was really curious at this point. I'm like, let's see how an album of theirs stacks up to our review. You know, we get a single. Now, how does the whole thing as a work?
I think oddly enough, we were pretty spot on.
Yeah,
that happens a lot though.
Of our single review,
just like us being spot on.
Oh yeah, well we'll see if we're spot on with this one too.
I think we were.
Okay, were?
I think we were, or we will be.
Okay, that's where I'm like, what? Okay, so. Right away, chill.
Yeah, like pretty
tranquil,
minimal. Pretty.
Yeah, more arpeggiating stuff.
Yeah, it's just like synth music.
Yeah, I worry like now. I'm like, am I like kind of synthed out already before this album even starts?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that might have already happened.
You have synth fatigue. WebMD.
Yeah, synth fatigue.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, can't handle all these triangle waves.
So, and this intro kind of builds slowly and kind of does its thing, and I'm wondering like, oh man, am I even in the mood for this kind of music? And then it kind of bumps and gets a little louder.
Yeah, but this first one is like a yoga warm up song. It makes me want to do yoga.
Yeah, I could see that. So a beat does come in, and I write, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And I write, I can turn this up a little bit too, because I actually listened to this right after the last one we did. Mm-hmm. So I actually had turned that one down too. So this one, I was like, okay, you know what? I can put it back up to where I want to listen to electronic music, which is a little bit louder.
Right. This one, there is one time where they kind of like lose control with the filter, and there's like a volume drop.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen the rest of the record really, but it was like really noticeable.
My very next note is this needs mixing. So I wonder if I had actually noticed what you're talking about. It needs mixing.
Mm-hmm.
And I write here, I'm afraid I'm going to be kind of critical of this release.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not nodding along to it, but I don't know why it was like an actual fear. Like I was afraid.
Yeah.
I was afraid.
Maybe,
somehow.
but you were afraid because we did the single, and you're like,
maybe.
Oh, I already have like this like kind of a bar has been set,
right?
But
I am nodding along to this, all of it. I'm nodding along.
This is an intro track, and I feel like it's kind of long for an intro track, just by the vibe it's setting. Like I feel like it wants to like for you to kind of catch the vibe of it, but they also want to introduce the record to you. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of sitting right in between those. So it was either needed to be like longer or shorter.
Yeah. I felt like it really went on for a long time. And you mentioned a volume drop. There was a real volume spike with a particular synth that came in.
Yes, there was.
Hurt my ears.
Yes, it was like I think there was a drop and then a spike.
It was really bad.
Yeah, it was like a filter sweep thing.
And like that kind of stuff, I had turned down like 75%. Mm-hmm. I know. I'm like, how low do I have to turn this for it to no longer bug me?
That's a point I just want to like a sidebar from this album, but I just want to talk about the pandemic, and like I think I want everyone to be careful when you go to shows and bring earplugs, because we haven't listened to loud music in a very long time.
I haven't even thought about that. Yeah. Like I actually have a big box of earplugs. I should bring some. I've been wearing earplugs in the morning just for my ear sensitivity. No, even like a crinkly wrapper, or like putting away dishes, or like putting like cleaning silverware. Like I can like hear it so loud now.
Your ears are so like fine tuned now.
I lost my ear calluses.
Yeah, exactly.
They fell out. Yeah, they fell out overnight.
Now you got like baby skin.
And speaking of ear fatigue, I suffered that right away with this album, and I said I need to take a break. This song, I can tell something. Is putting me in a bad headspace, and I need to like chill.
I think there's this song, I think it does like 2 rises and 2 falls or something, and it's called Sunrise, and I almost wish maybe it seems cheesy, but they would have played more with that title and maybe done like an actual like have the song start out kind of low and then rise up.
Right. I like that.
And then cut to the next song. I
like that a lot.
But maybe the title came after the song.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but that could have been. I don't
know. I like. So I wrote I need to take a break from this, and then after that, this kind of mysterious like 2020 like synth wavy vibe comes in.
Yeah, this song is like really kind of different from the rest of the album.
It kind of had like a dark wave journey at the end of it.
It did, yeah.
And I wrote, okay, this brought me back a little bit, but I am going to take a break after this song, and the mix was making it so I couldn't play it loud without it hurting my ears, and like that's not good.
I'm wondering if this was like either a really early song written or really like last minute one.
Yeah, and I have wrote long as fuck.
Yeah, it is long.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Yeah. Did you read the liner notes before you?
No.
Okay.
It needs to be remixed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good potential in some of this stuff, but I'm afraid I'm going to be critical of this.
I'm guessing that
just so everyone knows.
They probably mixed it themselves, which is there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, you just got to get multiple pairs of ears on mixes.
Yeah. It's hard with electronic music, I think, too.
It is hard.
I think you get really connected to how you think a thing sounds.
It's crazy.
And it's so expansive, you know?
Yeah.
You want to go to the next song?
Yeah, let's do it. Holocene. I will mention
Forgotten Landscape?
No. Holocene.
Okay. I think a lot of what I was talking about was Holocene.
Okay. Holocene,
go ahead.
Just from the liner notes.
I'll edit. Do better.
Sure.
Do a better intro to that.
Next song's called Holocene.
Okay.
From the liner notes, I did read them right before. Ryan Hay of Pink Sky does play a little bit of piano on this as well.
Awesome.
So that's kind of cool.
It was long. It was like a long, like piano-y, organ-y thing.
But it's like a percussive
really
element
long
to it. Yeah, it's very, very, very long.
Really long.
Got a nice booming kick.
Yeah, but I do like the beat that comes in, which I was talking about. So I was out of all that. But I do like when that beat comes in. This song had a loud synth thing in it as well.
Yeah. And maybe it was that organ.
No, the organ that starts with it. It was at the end. It just really, there was some frequency that was hurt my head. And at the end of this one, there's like a cool synthy part too as well. That we already talked about. I'm gonna edit all that. It'll be no problem.
There's there's a lot of like interesting synth sounds. There's like the organ is like a very kind of traditional organ, and it's like very funereal, which I really dug.
Okay.
Which is kind of like an interesting vibe that I wasn't expecting from the song.
It's like kind of long. This one too.
I didn't mind that, honestly.
Okay.
I was like in the vibe.
It didn't bother you in the way the first one did?
No.
Okay.
It's like a good like night drive song.
It has that vibe at the end for certain.
You know, like,
and I think that vibe is really, really 2020.
Totally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very hip vibe, like what is it, vaporwave, like Simpsons wave.
Simpsons wave, yep,
yeah,
definitely.
Shout out if you know Simpsons wave.
You want to go on to the next track?
I just have another notes about just like, there's just like there's like an ambient dropout, and then there's like a bit crush synth, which is like my favorite effect. So if you want to let my heart over for synth effects, bit crush it just a little bit. Love it.
I don't know what that means. So do you want to talk to our listener, or do you want to leave it up?
Sure. Bit crush is like kind of like a distortion kind of. It's like like chiptune music. It's kind of like it breaks it up and makes it sound like broken up.
Okay.
And like techie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on with the synthy stuff on here, and I have kind of notes about that later, but there's obviously some attention to detail. Like with this, I don't know how to say what I'm going to say. Yeah. I'm just going to say it later, I guess.
Okay. Let's see, what else do I have? I have that, like, I'm disappointed that the beat didn't come in harder when after it dropped out. Like, I don't know. There's I understand, like, doing things differently, but there's certain times where you just kind of got to give it to your listener.
Yeah.
And like I understand the vibe he's going for. Like they're trying to like create intensity within like kind of like the sonic realm, but I feel like it's not there with like the actual volume and like rhythmic aspect. You know, it's more of like a stressful intensity versus like a pumped up intensity.
I just don't think there's a whole lot of really good chord progressions going on in this music.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of like 1 to the low 5 going on.
Sure.
Dun dun.
Right.
I mean, once I started noticing that, it was in every single song, and then it goes dun. Like from that 5, it goes up one step from there, and like
6.
and it just kept doing that over and over and over again.
I don't know.
Yeah. Forgotten Landscape. You want to move on? Else? Okay.
The only note from the other one is it's just like the ending was like lackluster too.
Yeah.
But yeah, next one, Forgotten Landscape.
Can I turn this up again?
Please.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Let's see here. What do I say? It's something about this song felt like incomplete. Like it didn't seem like it seemed more like an idea, like a sketch, but I don't know if he got there with like the arrangement yet with this one.
I do have a very similar note. I sort of like where this is going. I know I have nothing really big to look forward to. I'm just sort of sitting here hoping it goes somewhere.
Yeah, and I don't think it really got there ever.
Yeah.
There's vibes, but they're just not. They're they're just incomplete. They're just, the thoughts unfinished.
Well, it sounds like a bunch of songs that are in the same a bunch of sounds in the same BPM. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, here's some do to do it, here's some beep beep beep, and we'll put it all together.
It was just, I think the difference of like the beats, like there's the 808 kick, but then there's these like room mic'd toms. And like I like the idea of like varying your drum sounds. But at that
you
point,
think it was like analog sounding or actual analog drums, or it's all like
no? I think it's all
and samples,
drum
and
machine.
Stuff,
yeah, but it's just like when they're so varied that I still wasn't getting like a cohesive like mix.
Yeah, I think so. You brought up synths in the earlier songs, and I think they sound good. On this song, some of the synths sound like actively bad to me, like literally bad.
Yeah, there were kind of some elements of like,
and so like this brings me back, and I think you know how I feel about like synth hardware and stuff.
Yeah.
But I always wonder like why limit yourself to a thing that's making yourself sound worse. You know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of the thing where like, okay, you don't want to do digital or Ableton or something or whatever,
right?
And you're basically like doing like the whole goat herding thing. Have you heard of this analogy?
No, tell me.
So it's about drumming. Like, okay, so I used to like program drums, and I thought that was cheating. So I started sampling real drum sounds.
Yeah,
and I didn't like that, so I started playing the drum beat real way. And I didn't like the drum heads I was using, so I got a guy who makes drum heads for me. But I didn't like that he was using like synthetic ones, so I started raising goats.
Okay,
and I haven't really made much music because I'm too busy herding goats.
I see.
And I wonder how much this music is hurting goats.
I see. Yeah.
Maybe they're not like on one try not synth based or hardware synth based.
Yeah.
Does that analogy make sense?
It does make sense, but I don't know if that's just gonna like resonate with this artist just because they are just like a synth, and like I think probably
right.
They're just a very like 2020 artist, I think.
Right. But I still like worry. It's like, man, there's so much dedication to this, to a hardware or to a machine that maybe is not maybe serving you the best you could do.
Right.
And I wonder if that's happening here. I do like a lot of it. I like the genre. I like this kind of music.
Yeah, I think that kind of also has to do with just like again like a 2020 trend of like I think people are really embracing like they're all kind of doing the Mac DeMarco thing where they're just getting like bad instruments, and like that's kind of like the hip thing.
Yeah, I get that, but it does make me think it sounds good.
Right? Yeah, but I think that's like
I
think that's what other people think sounds good.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
So this also does sound a little bit 90s to me. It sounds like Future Sound of London, like the Orb kind of like this, like the mid 90s rave kind of stuff, and I do appreciate that. But that stuff has so much more like attention to it.
There's a lot going on with that stuff.
I don't think it's doing it for me. And like, if this was in my track collection and I was spinning a set of this genre of music, I don't think I would even play it.
Yeah, maybe they just need to do more drugs and make some music.
Maybe. I think that
reference.
Yeah. I think that it's just helpful to keep trying new things.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. And I'm just being critical. I said I was probably gonna be critical of this album, and I think I'm just gonna.
That's happening.
Okay, fine.
That's okay.
Fine.
Yeah,
fine.
You're a scamp.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though, if it wound up my track collection, it would not go in one of my DJ sets.
Yeah, I have some notes about this later too. That is on the same pattern.
You want to go to the next track?
Yeah, Creation.
This one is called Creation.
By now, I need like a banger, and this is not it.
I wrote 4 songs to win me back.
Yeah,
it's
like, oh man, I kind of go off here.
Let me. Sonically, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, sonically, it's good.
It just doesn't really.
And it's a short song, which
it
is kind of nice.
Doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And here's why I wrote a lot of the same progression.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 1 to low 5.
This song is like the song you'd play for the intro of like a Netflix true crime documentary.
Okay. Yeah.
Like with like the drone shot.
I love it. Yep.
But like, okay, so this like, I don't know. There's so much just like ambient kind of like sonic buildup. At this point, I'm kind of feeling like cock teased in a way.
Sonically, it's pretty cool.
Sonically, it's cool, but like I'm not getting like the rhythmic satisfaction.
Yeah.
I can't. There's not like, I'm just getting like, right. And that's just kind of like at some point I need to like, I don't know. I'll continue later because this happens more and more as the album goes on.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing. I have here. This might be a show I add clips to point out some of the things I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Man, that's yeah. Okay. Anything else on this track?
Mm-mm.
It's a short one.
Yeah, it's a shorty.
The next one's called Silver.
Silver. I feel like all electronic artists have a song called Silver,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. It's a great song.
More of the same progression.
Yeah. It's got 4 on the floor, which is nice. But I just really needed, again, like I really needed the song to like pop off.
Right.
And it didn't.
There was I used to play in Subtle Bodies, and we had a keyboard. We never used it for this purpose, but there was a really 90s, like kind of like really big but light plastic keyboard. But you had this mode where every key was a different loop, and like you could program. There was like thousands of them on there.
That's sick.
And so you could just do like a whole house set with like they'd be like and then play a different key to do a different thing with it. And you could add little things, and this music kind of sounds like it's made with that. And like I don't mean that like in a bad way, but like we're using hardware, and like sometimes it's just hard to sound like these are just like the same, a bunch of loops are in the same BPM, and you're just kind of just like throwing between them.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're making these new beats on the spot or whatever.
By this point, like I'm like almost like actively mad that I haven't heard like one snare throughout this whole record.
It's techno music.
Yeah, like, and I really just needed a snare to like.
Yeah.
I think that might be just personal taste because I enjoy more like house and down tempo stuff.
I like house. I think specifically because I like that big snare or the big clap with it or snaps with it.
At this point, I was like, just give me the shittiest snare. I don't care. I just need a fucking snare.
You know, I feel like one of the real hallmarks of techno is the lack of a snare. You know,
that's really interesting. Yeah, and then this is like something like I think I would have never noticed like even like a year ago. Like, but since I have listened and learning more about electronic music,
we'll go to like some electronic fest.
We'll
just go for a day and get a hotel room.
Dude,
or something.
that'd be fun. I'd be down for that.
It'd be great. We'll go in costumes and stuff. It'd be so funny.
Yeah, we'll get the Dumb and Dumber tuxedos.
I love that. I want to do that.
Yeah, I needed a snare, and then I was thinking like a reverb like vocal sample or something. Just I wanted more house elements, and I think it was just more techno. Apparently,
I am enjoying this though. Like even though we're being critical, I do, it's like not a terrible listening experience.
This one has like the good repetitiveness.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It has like I could really ignore this and play a video game or whatever, work on a project.
Yeah, there was a groove I could hang on to, and that was really nice.
But it's kind of forgettable.
Yeah, I don't remember what it sounds like.
It's kind of boring sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's a little painful sometimes.
The painful was the lack of the snare for me.
Okay, for me it was that synth part.
Gotcha.
I was wondering. Okay, I wrote here. This might have been a bicycle short situation. I was wondering if you were gonna really like this record.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were really gonna enjoy it.
I was actually expecting to really enjoy it, and I think because the lack of snare was like the thing that really pulled me away from it.
I think people will like this record.
I think it's a good record.
And like, let me say, Grand Rapids, everyone who's making music and doing new and varied stuff, keep doing it regardless of whether we like your record or not. Just make a better record next time. It's a really easy solution. But like, there's so many bands that are in the synth wave scene that like, let's do some shows. Once shows get safe, we can do them anywhere. And it's really low commitment unless you have like 40 keyboards and 80 wires.
Right, exactly.
Let's pop this on a laptop. Let's get in a basement.
Yeah, and let's just vibe, dude.
Yeah. So that I wrote here like experience and expectation, you know, and I think that we kind of touched on that just now too. And natural segue to that. Experience and expectations. Okay, let's remove ourselves from what was that? We talked about that one. There was some philosopher said a good critic has to have like no ego about it.
That's
basically.
Right. Yeah.
So let's remove our ego from ourselves and this music. How do we assess it? I don't think we get that far away from it.
No, I think like if I were to really take my ego away from it, I think I would be like really impressed with this record.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I would even be less impressed. I would be less kind about it.
Really?
I think my ego is forcing me to be kinder about it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the opposite path in that way.
Yeah, that happens so much with us. That's good.
I know.
Though. It's good. At least we're friends.
Yeah,
we could have easily just not gotten along at all.
Yeah. I mean, like the friendship could be just like teetering.
Yeah,
like
at all times.
Like we're literally like the can like thing going on. Like this is us right now.
So I don't know. I don't know. The ego question is even interesting anyway. You want to go to the next track?
Let's do it.
Ancestor.
This is
title track. Title tracks are big and are often met with kind of a grandiose like expectation too. You know.
What do you feel about like when the band has like the band, the song, and the album all have the same name?
Ooh.
Like Bad Company.
I was gonna say Bad Company. Who else?
Or Black Sabbath, I think.
Black Sabbath. Man, I feel like Black Crowes would have a song called Black Crowes.
Probably.
You know,
I love it. I think it's hilarious.
really when you do all three, it is really
funny.
interesting. All that came to my mind was Bad Company.
That's like the textbook answer.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Company.
Yeah, I don't hate it. You know, this track starts to show a different side a little bit of this artist. Kind of like Moom. Remember that band Moom?
Yes.
The Icelandic band, kind of like Matmos and like
Totally.
Bjork stuff almost do.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the, like doing those kind of like the soundscape kind of thing. It can really get cheesy easy, and I think this was done like really well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like roll my eyes when like the nature sounds came in or whatever. But that also plays to like the liner notes because it's kind of has like this environmental.
Okay, interesting.
We'll read it after this.
You know, after I think I learned my lesson with that first release we reviewed, and I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah,
like, I don't care what they say.
Yeah,
this one is kind of the best song so far for me.
Yeah, I and funny enough, I said I hope this one doesn't have drums, and it didn't, which is great. Good job.
There's electronic music is it went mainstream. You know, about 15 years ago.
Yeah,
or so. Probably really in the 90s, it went mainstream with like honestly like Club MTV and like The Grind and like The Prodigy, you know, like made it like really broed out the whole
Basement Jacks.
Yeah, there was so many things in the 90s, but really about 15 years ago it got like where high schoolers were having dances where it's all dubstep or house or techno
It's
music.
when everyone got garage band.
Yeah, and so electronic music is so varied and so like different that when I hear an electronic music thing I don't like, I'm like, well, you're doing that wrong, you know. But maybe this is electronic music for people that don't like electronic music that much,
totally,
or aren't picky about it or snobby or aren't like heads. You know what I mean?
I mean that's like kind of what like Postal Service was like electronic music for people who don't like electronic music. That's why they're so big.
They were huge,
you know.
And like, I'm like kind of a house music head, and if I go to like or back when there were parties, go to a warehouse party, hear a house DJ, I will know like, oh, that's that song. Oh, that's that song. Oh, he's doing that. Oh, this is this. But I don't know all the new stuff until you go to hear all the new stuff or whatever.
Right.
But I know what kind of tropes and like electronic music is full of tropes, and now it's so varied that it's like, oh, maybe I need to accept that there's different types of electronic music that aren't really for me even, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there are some like websites and services where I'll like submit songs to be like in Instagram posts or TikToks or whatever, or playlists, and you have to like you can like pick certain genres to like as descriptors, and there's so many electronic genres you can pick from.
Well, they just keep
it's crazy.
Music classification is as interesting of a subject as music criticism.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And
totally.
it kind of goes both ways. We as critics even classify music ourselves.
Yes.
You know, Bandcamp you have to put a genre for your accessibility, but like, you know. Like what we have on our I Believe in Julio one, it says like shout gospel and punk, you know.
Right.
But like our older stuff was shout gospel, you know, and I even added glam to like our newest record's kind of glam rock.
Totally, you know? Yeah.
So genre is going to be a thing that's going to be kind of a hindrance and also up to your benefit. And I don't know, I'm kind of rambling here, but electronic music has just got me thinking about that. And we're going to be dealing with a lot of electronic music.
I want to hear some Christian electronic music.
I will make you a Christian electronic music playlist for today. That'll be my playlist.
No way.
I know a lot.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
I did not think
boy.
that was a thing.
You are in for luck. You are in. I went to Cornerstone Festival every year, which is a big Christian music event. But the last couple of years I went, they had a whole rave tent.
Really? Because I always thought Cornerstone was always like the emo and like screamo stuff. And like
towards the end,
and then like before it was like all so much indie.
There was a group called Joy Electric. Did you ever hear about them?
Yeah.
And they were Christian, and so I think they had an imprint on Tooth and Nail called Plastic Music. So it was a bunch of other bands that were on that label. Oh man.
Oh, this is so funny.
Yeah.
Is there vocals?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is blowing my mind right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like,
I mean, what's the difference between rolling on ecstasy and being really into Jesus? You know,
I mean,
the sex.
One and the same. Yeah, with this the sex.
The sex. Yeah, there's probably like a little more sex with the Molly stuff.
That's awesome.
This record like is the best song. The song Ancestor is the best song, but it kind of feels a little bit sloggy. The whole thing. Thinking about this is the best song. It's like this should not have been the best song. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
in my opinion. IMO.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like. At this point, though, I was kind of like welcoming of it because like I was like, this is really nice. Like I can like at least enjoy this more without being mad about
It was
snare
good.
stuff.
It was good. And it's like the last track of the album.
Last track.
But there's a bonus track right on there.
And I have many notes about that.
Do you really?
Not many notes, but like I just have funny notes.
People just call stuff whatever they want to.
Yeah.
Go off. Let's hear what you have to say about this.
I literally was like laughing out loud because I was like, oh, this is the best song. On the yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like where this is going so far. The next sentence I wrote is, I like this better than that whole album I just heard.
That's what I felt. That's so funny. I was like, why isn't he doing this? This is the best.
This is the show.
Yeah, I was like, this is sick.
This is the thing.
Yeah, I
love that.
So I was like, come on, man. Like, literally the whole time I was like, there's no snare. There's like, this beat's weird. This synth is strange. And then like he does like this 80s thing. I'm like, fuck yeah.
I liked it so much more than the rest of the album.
It was
listener,
great.
give it a listen and let us know what you think.
The song's called Deathless, by the way.
Deathless, and it's Deathless bonus track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe those last two tracks are like, you know what, it was actually worth it for the last two tracks. But I don't know. I think it's really, really, really kind of, what's the word? Imbalanced.
Yeah. I mean, I see why it's called the bonus track because it doesn't fit the rest of the record.
No.
But, man, it's like the best song.
It could have been the second to last track maybe or something. Yeah.
Or just, I don't know, just make more music like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best. I loved it. It has snare. I was like, it made me want more.
Mm-hmm.
But that was probably because of just listening to the record before, but I was like, this is great.
And that's effective,
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting because I don't think he really sounded like this for the single that we reviewed. So
yeah, you're right. It sounded more.
It sounded more like the album that we, like Ancestor.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like this one must have just kind of be like a one-off style, but like Silent Spirit, this stuff is cool. Like do more stuff like Deathless.
Yeah, I like wherever they're going. I think what they need to do is probably just put out more music.
Yeah,
and dial it in. Maybe get some more ears on the mix.
Yeah.
I don't know how to mix electronic music more, but man, pop on like Instagram and follow some production like stuff on there. There's tips all the time.
All the time.
I'm not saying that you like need that help or like you're lacking in it, but I think that there's some ththings that could really make your stuff shine.
Yeah, and like even just me like learning how to like produce and like mix, like you think your stuff is good and then you don't even notice yourself progressing.
Right.
And then you listen to your old stuff, you're like, this sounds like garbage.
And I'm not even harping on like composition or songwriting of this stuff because I'm not even sure they're there as an artist. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. Like that is the next step. It's like, let's get some songs, maybe put some vocals in some stuff if you want to, or just like a reason to have this track blow me away,
Sure.
And I don't know, I say vocals often because I love vocal-based dance music, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be a melody, a synth line melody that's just just so catchy,
Right.
A lot of the things here is you're just doing things that are in the same key.
Yeah,
there's no catchiness to it.
Yeah, it's ambient pads. There's like focusing more on like the pads versus the actual like melodies and notes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Deathless, though.
Yeah. Did it get there?
I think it did, actually.
I think that
I think people really like this, and I think like I think it is actually like pretty accessible for like folks who like don't necessarily like listen to like deep house or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's kind of electronic music for some people that maybe don't like electronic music that much, and maybe in that I have to respect that it could get people into the genre, and that I really like. Totally. Speaking of Christian music, I was talking on the podcast with John Massel. He was saying, like, when he was back in the day, he didn't respect those bands at all. But now he does because you listen to a Christian band, maybe you get to a different band, and maybe they give you a book about, like how to think for yourself.
Right.
And then that's like, maybe this can get someone into this, and it gets them into production, and they become a rave like party thrower.
Yeah.
Like promoter or something,
And I just don't think, like, Silent Spirit's trying to make, like, straight up like dance music. I think they're just trying to make like more ambient stuff.
Maybe it seems like it's maybe straddling a fence, and
totally.
That's the problem we're having with it too.
Exactly.
Sure. You want to go to ratings?
Let's give it a rating. I'm gonna give this a rating of a Blue Beetle.
A blue beetle.
Blue beetle.
I'm going to say a mossy branch.
All right. Let's read some liner notes real quick.
Perfect.
Just because we're always trying to improve our craft.
Yeah. But I think that we learned the liner notes are too boring.
The liner notes.
If the liner notes are too boring, we're not gonna do it.
They could make or break your album. Ancestor is the first full-length album by Silent Spirit. This instrumental electronic album deals with environmental conservation themes and was inspired by the rapid changing climate and the effects it had on the environment. Nature is powerful and beautiful. Silent Spirit hopes that this album will evoke mindfulness to all who listen, and all proceeds through this Bandcamp link will benefit the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund by the World Health Organization.
That's interesting. So this is another release that offers a lot to accompany it, you know, and another instrumental release that is about something. You know,
again, this featured Ryan Hay on the second song, Holocene. Ryan Hay of Pink Sky. Art by Ryoko, I believe is how it's pronounced. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Very cool art.
And then special thanks to Aaron, Alexis, Ari, Chloe, Darian, Elise, Jana, and Sid for helping with the release.
Awesome.
We even have like a, you know how in Bandcamp there's people can write like a little blip if they buy the album.
Oh, like the support reporter, yeah.
So we have one for this.
Let's do it. Read it off. Why not?
This is by Matt Lokes, who played piano in the previous release on Cotter.
Perfect. Relevant.
What an incredible debut album. So many different and beautiful vibes here. After hearing the core EP, I was eagerly awaiting the full-length debut, and it did not disappoint. Favorite track was Ancestor.
Okay, interesting. So we're not off about that
We're
either.
not.
You know, I think this one could grow on me. I don't know if I heard enough that I like to give it another chance.
Yeah.
So, but what I do look forward to is what this person's going to do in the future and what Silent Spirit's going to do with shows. Like, as soon as there's a show, I had them booked. I don't know if I talked about I had
That's
Silent
right.
Spirit booked.
With Pink Sky, right?
No, it was Pink Sky. Pink Sky did a double set one time.
Oh, that's right.
This band, Silent Spirit, was booked with How to Live Together.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that'd be good.
We could probably just do that show somewhere else again, or do it here. That'd be fun in the basement.
That'd be sick.
Basement here. I mean, I might try to.
Cassie DJ between sets
and
shit, dude. That'd be sick.
Yeah. So we'll think about doing something like that. But like, there is so much this artist is probably going to do. I don't think they're done.
Yeah.
And I think it's another situation where maybe I don't like this one that much. I do think that it's successful in its own right, but I want to hear more.
Yeah, totally.
And then I think I'll be more favorable.
Yeah.
On the next one. I think expectations are still high, even though I feel a little let down. I think my expectations are still high. That did not budge.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Bandscamps@gmail.com. 2020 or 2021 submissions, send them to us. Tell your friends. You know, we reach thousands of people each episode.
And we're looking for sponsors still. If you have a small restaurant, a small pop-up, if you own a beverage company and you want a little airtime, we are always hungry, we're always thirsty, and we're always reaching more and more people every week.
That's right.
So get a hold of us. Sponsorships are cheap.
Patreon.com/bandscamps is the coolest, fastest, easiest, sickest way you can support us directly. You make this podcast possible, these microphones possible.
We have more shows in the work. We have things we're not even talking about yet because we want to actually do the projects, not just talk about the projects.
That's right.
That's a problem that it's taken me like 35 years to like really learn that. Like you really have to do that.
That's a big one.
Dan, this has been awesome, man.
It's great. Love us.
Cool.
All right.
This has been episode 15. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
This has been a Grand Rhapsody production. Executive produced by Dan Fisher and Julio Gomez.